Turn on your light. Turn on your light. Shine. Shine. It's time to shine. 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 Turn on your light. Shine. 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 It's time to shine.
Ah yeah. Wherever you there, tell you make you no look at them face. Shine and blaze. Ah yeah. Wherever you there, tell you make you no look at them face. Make you shine and blaze.
I burn twice. You supposed to shine twice. As you talk, say you get to this new life. Sure you know, say you know 50 ever high. No lie.
Aye. Wherever you there, tell you make you no look at them face. Shine and blaze.
Turn on your light.
Turn your light on.
Shine.
It's time to shine on.
Shine.
Get up on your feet, come and shine.
It's time to shine. 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 Turn on your light. Shine. 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 It's time to shine.
You get the bright light, so lift it up. You get the high life, so make you live it up. You can't hide, you be sit it up. No time, so make you switch it up. The world they grown, you heal it up. You be salt, oh, make you sweet it up. No, they run from darkness, and don't forget who you represent. The world is waiting for you, so you're supposed to
turn on your light. Shine.
Shine, 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 shine,
Shine.
shine, 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 shine.
Shine.
Yeah.
I burn twice. You supposed to shine twice. As you talk, say you get to this new life. Sure you know, say you know 50 ever high. No lie.
Aye. Wherever you there, don't put them face. Shine and blaze.
Turn on your light.
Turn your light up.
Shine.
It's time to shine up.
Shine.
Get up on your feet up. Come and shine up.
It's time to shine.
Shine up. Shine on your feet up.
Shine.
Turn your light up.
Shine.
Turn your light up.
Turn on your light. Shine. 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 Shine.
Shine and blaze.
Shine. Shine.
Shine and blaze.
It's time to shine.
Take your place. Take your place. I get it.
Turn on your light. Turn on your light.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
Wow. It's so glad to have everybody. I hope you can see me and you can hear me.
Yes, please.
Okay. Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right. To save time, I would like us to start right away. So today is April 29, 2022, and the event we've been waiting for is here finally. It's here. At least in 30 minutes, we should start the main event. But before we start, we are going to be having an interactive session, and then we have about 3 special guests with us. I hope I can see Mr. Ajiman, I can see Mr. Silas, and hopefully Dr. Favor will join us soon. All right. And before we start the interactive session, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Joy, and I'm also known as Mrs. V. All right, and I'll be the host for this evening's interactive session. And I'd like to specially welcome our guest, Mr. Ajiman, who is a good friend of Love Umbrella Network and has been on the team as well. You know, and then Mr. Silas, who has also been a good friend of Love Umbrella Network too, and has been a close follower of Love Umbrella Network. So good to have you, sirs. And I would like you to introduce yourself briefly, starting with Mr. Ajiman. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll go straight to the point. I am Ajiman Opoku. I'm a Ghanaian by native. And I'm also affiliated to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture back in Ghana. And I'm a proud member of LUN, Love Umbrella Network. Currently, I'm studying at Delen Agriculture University, where I am pursuing the course of Agriculture Economics and Management. I'm very glad to be part of this team. Thank you very much.
We are glad to have you too. Thank you, sir. And I would like to hand over to Mr. Silas. Can you briefly introduce yourself, please?
Thank you, Mrs. V. I am Silas Downsey. I'm from Nigeria. I currently reside in Suzhou, which is right next to Shanghai. I study at Shanjiatong Liverpool University, where I am a PhD candidate in civil engineering. And I'm also on the leadership team of Suzhou International Fellowship. It's nice being here. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to have you too. Thank you so much for joining us for this interactive session. So we're just going to go right into it. To start with, I would like to, I hope I'm not missing anything, but anyway, I'm so excited to start the interactive session. So to start with, I'd like to ask from Mr. Ajiman. Mr. Ajiman, you've really been on the planning team when it comes to this particular event. You've been on the planning team, you know a lot about Love Umbrella Network, and you know a lot about this seminar, iGLOW seminar now. So can you just brief us, what do you think we should expect from the event regarding the speaker, the topics to be discussed, and just generally, what do you think we should expect from this event? Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you. And actually, I would say that we are here expectant, and we hope that all expectations will be met, because this event is actually an event designed to actually touch a life, for other people to touch a life. It's like a life impact chain where you will be inspired, you'll be equipped with the tools, with the ideas in order to show the works of love in our society or in our community. And you see that in the following speakers who will be speaking to us in the course of the event, they'll be letting us know how to even identify problems in our society or in our community. They also equip us with some tools to be able to address those needs and problems that we will identify. And they also expose us to some greater and amazing opportunities that participants can take opportunity of and apply it in any need that they have seen or they want to address. So I would say that we should be in high expectation, because it's a lot of packed ideas, packed tools that our speakers who have experience in demonstrating the works of love in society and communities are going to equip us with. So I know at the end of this event, participants will be able to initiate their own setup. They'll be able to identify a problem and they'll be able to go ahead to address that need or problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I like the word you said, it's so packed. This event is really, really packed with a lot, and I hope everybody that's going to be attending is prepared to drink and to learn as much as possible. All right, to my next question, Mr. Silas, I would like to know, or we would like to know, when you heard the theme, glowing in good works, what was the first thing that popped up in your mind? What does it really mean to you to glow in good works? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Glowing in good works is a very nice and beautiful topic. For me, being a believer and coming from a Christian perspective, it just means abounding in good works. It is quite an interesting topic in the sense that good works is something I believe stems from who we are as individuals. And I would also say that who we are is an expression of whose we are. We are God's children. And if we do anything, it is supposed to express the nature of God. It's supposed to express the kindness, the goodness of God. So when we work, when we do things, there should be the evidence of the goodness that, and of course of love, of God in all we do. And another way of looking at it is the fact that as individuals, we are distinguished by the values and virtues we hold, and also the works that we do. It is not strange to identify people based on their profession or what they do, but when you marry the two together, values and works, then we can identify people. So the good works we do cannot be separated from who we are. The two must work together. We must demonstrate who we are by the good works we do. And of course, as believers, we are told to let our works, our good works, to shine and for people to give glory to God. That's what iGLOW means, abounding in good works.
Wow, that's profound. I like the word you said. You said we are not apart or separate from, that means the good works we do is not separate from who we are. So it's important, it's paramount for us to actually glow in good work, because that's really who we are. All right, thank you so much. That's so profound. My next question goes to Mr. Ajiman. One of the speakers is going to be speaking on how to start an initiative, how to solve problems with your skills, with your volunteering. Remember, Mr. Silas just mentioned about that we are not separate from who we are. Our good works are not separate from who we are. In other words, it can involve our skills, it can involve our professions, So what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because for most people, when they say start an initiative, the first thing that comes to mind is, I need fund, I need money, I need capital. And it has actually deterred people from going out to serve and to give to the society. So in your own words, do you think the first thing needed to start an initiative is fund or capital? Over to you, sir.
All right. In my perspective, to start an initiative, you do not need to look at the capital. Though capital is important, we can't rule that out. but you need not to look at the capital aspect first. One of the things we have to pay attention to is you have to have a conceptualized idea. Before you start an initiative, by all means, you might have addressed or seen a need that needs to be addressed. So upon seeing that need and being moved to address that need, you should have a concept, you should have a framework, you should have your tools together before you look at the next step. More often, it is not even about you funding the event or the initiative. Maybe your role is just to conceptualize it. People will come on board because an initiative cannot be run by one person. Just like the body cannot do with just one part of it. The same way an initiative, people will come on board. So when you see the need and you conceptualize the idea, just bet it and try and bring people on board because it's a startup. Yeah, it's a startup. So bring people on board. When people come on board, they will find their ways, they will find their means, and they'll find the arm of the initiative that they can play. Somebody will come not with a conceptualized idea, but with a part of funding. With a part of funding. I'll give you a typical example. If, for instance, we conceptualize an idea that, forgive me to say that there was a lot of road accidents in your community, which involves children. And you found out that children at the age of maybe 15, crossing road was very difficult to them and it leads to lorry accidents. So this is a problem in your community. So you volunteer yourself that, okay, I'm going to be an officer that every morning at 6, between 7 to 7:30 a.m., I'm going to help these children cross the road to the other side. By so doing, you can reduce the number of casualties in this accident. Volunteering yourself to do this will not require any fund. It's an idea you have conceptualized. It's solving a need. It's addressing a problem, but you might not need fund. So I think the concept of the idea is very important before you migrate into looking at the financial aspect of it. Thank you.
Wow, that's so profound. You know, you said repeatedly that it's needed for one to conceptualize the idea first, and then even using human resources, you know, the people around, because if, for instance, I say I don't have fund, there might be someone around who has a fund, you know, and sometimes it's not just about the fund. All right, thank you so much. It's needed to conceptualize the idea and then to maximize the human resources around. Thank you so much, sir. I can see that Dr. Favor is here. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for finally joining. Thank you. All right, so my next question, we actually go to Dr. Favor since she's here. I would like to ask, you know, one of our speakers, oh, sorry, I think you can introduce yourself first.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. V. My name is Favor Enayoru, and I'm from Nigeria. I studied clinical medicine, yeah. So I'm really happy to be here to learn, and yeah, just to learn. Because I really know about a lot of topics here, and I know the event packed with really, really great topics. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. We are glad to have you. All right, so my next question, which is directed to Dr. Favor. One of our speakers will be talking about identifying unresolved problems in our local communities. All right, you know, sometimes in our world, people tend to magnify having an idea. They feel like, oh, all you need is an idea. Once you can think it, you can bring it to reality, you know. I would like to ask, is that really is that really important, you know, having an idea? For instance, can't I just stay in my room and then think of an idea without necessarily identifying a need? You know, let's say the idea is a really big and ground idea, you know, and just hoping that it will meet a need. Do I really need to go out there to identify a need before then coming up with an idea? I don't know if you understand my question.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just start by saying, like what Mr. Ajima said, it's really important to have an idea, but it's even more important to go out and know like what the local community is in need of. It's different when you provide something that the people need at a particular time. It's more beneficial to them and they receive it in good deeds, and your organization even grows and it's more recognized than you just bringing out any idea and just doing it. It's not recognized and well appreciated the way, and maybe even helps your organization grow. So I think in as much as an idea is good, that's the first step. But the ability to research and know, oh, this is what my local community is in need of, and this is what I ought to provide. Because, like an NGO, it's non-profitable, so it's you helping people, giving purpose, and just growing your community. So I think it will be more beneficial to go out, do the job of helping your people. Yeah. So
thank you so much. It's more beneficial to go out, identify the need, and do the job of actually growing your society. Thank you so much, Dr. Favor. My next question will go to, okay, we have about two more questions, and my next question will go to Mr. Silas. One of the speakers will be talking about opportunities for social impact with IEEE Smart Village. You know, and when people hear smart village and stuff like that, for me, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, technologies. And I felt, well, are we not just, is it not going to paint a picture that we are just being fancy, since it involves technology? Because an NGO, really, when people think about, for me growing up, I just felt an NGO, all you have to do is probably buy clothes, distribute to the society for people that in need and stuff like that. And for some people, when you talk about technologies, they'll be like, oh, you're just going overboard, you know. So how important is technology to non-profit organization, or to even glowing in good works generally? Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah. For just going back to the idea that will be discussed by one of the speakers, which is the smart village thing, it speaks to the fact, or to the problem, that a lot of people in certain places or communities, they are facing, let's say, for example, extreme poverty because of the environment they are in. And with technology, we are able to leverage the resources that are available to them. For instance, let's say solar energy, water, and they can use these things in a sustainable way, and also in a way that brings them out of poverty and solve several other problems. But speaking beyond, or looking beyond that, technology is just a game changer. It is wonderful the things technology can do. I recall an NGO called Charity Water. What they do is they provide water to places where there isn't potable water or safe drinking water. And with the use of technology, they're able to track every well. They're able to track every water providing system, trucks, and everything that they use real time. And you can imagine how that brings about efficiency and effectiveness. And we can also look at the availability of information, education, ideas being spread using information technology and all. So the thing with technology is that it's not just a way of being fancy and all of that, but to remove the limits, the hindrances. With technology, the limit is actually our ideas, our imagination. So technology is just the way to go. Thank you.
Wow, that's so profound. You said two profound things. You said technology is a game changer. And with technology, the limitations or barriers can be removed, actually. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that response.
Hello?
All right, we have
Hello?
one more question.
Hello? Yeah, sorry, I'm in a meeting.
We have one more question, and I would like Mr. Ajiman and Dr. Favor to talk briefly on it. But starting with Mr. Ajiman, one of the speakers is going to be talking about pathway to building a successful nonprofit organization. You know, and when you hear the word nonprofit, you be like, well, can nonprofit organization be successful? Bearing in mind that it's non-profit. You know, I mentioned the other time that growing up, when I hear about NGOs, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, they give and just give and give to the society. So how can they be successful when all they do is giving? So do you think a non-profit organization can be successful? Over to you, Mr. Ajiman.
Yes, a non-profit organization can be successful or can be profitable. You know, every organization is established on some values, and they have a goal and they have a target they want to reach. So when you look at non-profitable organizations or these initiatives, their main goal is to touch a life to address a need. Their profitability is when this need, is when this life is being touched, is when that need that they are established for is being addressed. Profitability for these life-touching organizations is not in economical sense. Economic sense is in fund, but they are about reaching out to that need and addressing that need in order to bring relief to that community or the society in which they are established for that purpose. So profitability is about achieving your purpose. It's about making your values made known and touching that life out there.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, you said something really profound. You said every organization, they have their aim, they have their goal. You know, so the true success actually comes in when they're able to achieve their aim, they're able to achieve their goals. Thank you so much. Dr. Favor, I don't know if you have anything to say on that question before we end the interactive session.
Yeah, I concur to what Mr. Ajiman said, but I'll also go in the route of being profitable in terms of finances. I think the ability for you to touch lives and people around see it and they see it meaningful. What you're doing is really impactful to the society and the community. They'll want to also lend hands, help financially and in other ways. So that way you are inviting other people in to grow your organization, and also in terms of finances, you see someone also bringing in, they want to chip in what they have. So it grows the organization. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's so profound. It's when people see that you're ready to serve the society, there are people who will actually come to support. Yeah, thank you so much for that. All right, so we've come to the end of this interactive session. We have about 4 minutes to the main event, and I'm super excited. And I would like to sincerely appreciate our guests, Mr. Silas, Mr. Ajiman, Dr. Favor. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And for everybody listening, thank you so much for joining. And please, you can stay tuned. The event will start in 3 minutes. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you for having me too.
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Shine, 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 shine. Turn on your light. Shine, 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 shine. It's time to shine.
Aye, wherever you dey, tell me you no look at them face, shine and blaze. Aye, wherever you dey, tell me you no look at them face, make you shine and blaze.
I run twice, you supposed to shine twice. As you talk, say you get to this new life. Sure, you know, say you know 50 50 ever high. No lie.
Wherever you there, Charlie make it not good and pace. Shine and blaze.
Turn on your light.
Turn your light on.
Shine.
It's time to shine on.
Shine.
Get up on your feet. Come shine.
It's time to shine. 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 Turn on your light. Shine. 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 It's time to shine.
You get the bright light, so lift it up. You get the high life, so make you live it up. You can't hide, you be sit it up. No time, so make you switch it up. The world is grown, you heal it up. You be salt, oh, make you sweet it up. No, they run from darkness, and don't forget who you represent. The world is waiting for you, so you're supposed to
turn on your light. Shine.
Shine, 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 shine,
Shine.
shine, 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 shine,
Shine.
yeah.
I won twice. You supposed to shine twice. As you talk, say you get to this new life. Sure you know, say you know 50 ever high. No lie.
Wherever you there, don't put them pace.
Turn on your light.
Turn your light on.
Shine.
It's time to shine on.
Shine.
Get up on your feet on. Come shine on.
It's time to shine. Shine. Shine.
On your feet on.
Shine.
Turn your light on.
Shine.
Turn your light on.
Turn on your light. Shine. 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 Shine.
Shine and blaze.
Shine. Shine.
Shine and blaze.
It's time to shine.
Take your place. Think you're not take your.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the maiden edition of the iGLOW webinar from Love Umbrella Networks. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm honored to be your host for today's event. My name is Tonyava Blessing. I'm from Ghana, and I'm a medical student in Dalian, China. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you can hear me, could you kindly send in the chat box where you are connected from? Let us know where you are connected from. If you are connected from China, you can kindly send your city or your province. If you are connected outside China, you send your country. Let's know where you are connected from as we get into today's event. Okay. I see people are connected from Changchun. You are welcome. From Beijing, from Shanghai, you are welcome. Thank you so much for joining us once again. From Anshan, thank you so much. Wow, amazing. So I would get right into the program for today, and I would humbly call on the convener of Love Umbrella Networks, Mr. V, to give us the keynote speech. Over to you, Mr. V.
All right, I presume I can be heard. All right, I would like to say a very big thank you to everyone that has joined us today. Thank you for making out time to be with us today. We believe that there are three sets of people, like three categories of people here. The first category are people that are probably seeking, ideas on how to be a change, a positive transformation to the society. All right. While the second set of people are people that have ideas, but then you are seeking, inspiration on how to expand. Then the last set of people is you just want to be in a community like this and encourage good works that others are doing. All right. So wherever you fall on these three levels, we really want to celebrate you for joining us today. And we hope that it's going to be a great time with our speakers and the entire team. Please do enjoy the section. Don't go before the end of the meeting.
All right, we thank you for joining us today, and I would like to hand over back to the MC for continuation. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. V. Thank you so much. So if you are just joining us, I welcome you once again to the iGLOW webinar. Keep glowing in good works, glowing in good works. Yes, and so I would call on the media team to introduce to us the Love Umbrella Network. Tell us about the Love Umbrella Network. Media team over to you.
Alaikum salam.
The Love Umbrella Network. Love Umbrella Network is a movement committed to spreading the knowledge and understanding of agape love to individuals, families, communities, and organizations in practical and experiential ways. On April 2016, Joy and Victor started Love Umbrella as an initiative to build stronger families using the instrumental word through teachings and webinars on social media platforms. After several years of learning about love, serving in their local assemblies, and fostering love among friends and families, the vision of Love Umbrella gradually expands into a network of young ambassadors of love, leaders, mentors, families, communities, and organizations working together as a team to spread the message of agape love to every individual, every family, every community, and every organization. The Love Umbrella Network currently has the teaching arm, the communities and projects arm. The mission of the teaching arm is to teach the principles of agape love and help people grow into maturity of love in all aspects of their lives, with loved ones through sparkles of love, and with their communities through love and light. The Love and Light is a teaching platform for bringing men into the understanding of practical dimensions of love and the power of love. The community arm connects people of similar passion, values, and goals. The Ephesians 5:125 men and Proverbs 31 women helps provide mutual encouragement for couples, as well as mutual growth towards attaining personal goals and corporate goals. The singles community called Love Culture provides singles with resources, ideas, and opportunities to become rooted and grounded in their understanding and practice of agape love before getting married. The LoveWorks arm provide help to distressed families and communities through LoveWorks charity. Through research and development, LoveWorks also initiates innovative dialogues by assembling and challenging great minds to explore novel, efficient, and sustainable solutions. The LoveWorks Institute trains, prepares, and deploys ambassadors of love to impact love in different communities around the world. Watch out for more interesting programs from the Love Network. For more information, please stay connected to our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube using the handle Love Umbrella. You can also send us a message via email, loveumbrella@gmail.com.
That was amazing. That was great. Thank you so much, the media team. And so a QR code would also be shared. If you are interested in joining the network, you can scan probably during the event or after the event, you can scan the QR code to join any of our social media platforms on WhatsApp or WeChat. Yes, thank you so much. And so I would call on Mr. Ajimai now to give us an introduction of our first speaker. We are going right into it. And so if you have any questions, if you have any inquiries, you can note down your questions. And at the end of this session, we'll have a question and answer time where you have the opportunity to ask your question. So you can also forward your questions to me directly on the chat, in the chat box, or to any of the people named SP with a name or iGLOW with a name to be addressed. Thank you so much. And over to you, Mr. Ajiman.
Thank you very much, MC. Ladies and gentlemen, I deem it a very great honor this evening, wherever you find yourself, to introduce our first speaker for our webinar today. Our first speaker, I must say, personally, is like a mentor to me. He's somebody who has impacted me in many diverse ways. He's in the person of Engineer Milex Jr. Milex Jr. has been an outstanding youth leader for the past 10 years. In 2018, he emerged as one of the 200 social innovators recognized for exceptional leadership and contribution to national development in the Young African Initiative, Mandela, Washington. That means Engineer Milex is a Mandela Washington Fellow. Milex is also a communications engineer with Huawei Technology in Democratic Republic of Congo. And he is the founder and managing director of Barakhat Foundation, an organization that trains, equips, and prepares youth for leadership through workshops, seminars, and conferences. Milex conveniently speaks over 4 different languages, and his leadership influence spans from Africa to different parts of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, in this webinar, Engineer Milex will be speaking to us on becoming globally relevant by solving SDG problems in our local communities. Without much ado, I want to hand over and help me invite Engineer Milex Jr. to feed us with his brim of wisdom and knowledge of impact. So if you can hear me, I hand over to you. Thank you very much. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. This is my beloved brother. Ajiman, thank you very much. Please, I hope I can be here. I want to let me know if I'm audible and my voice is good enough.
Yes, please, you can be heard loud and clear.
Amen. Okay, great. Then I think we can go ahead. Thank you very much for such, when the Love Umbrella team they asked me to introduce myself, I thought I don't like, so I'm even shocked how do they make it, because often I don't like to talk myself. I prefer others do so. So when you ask me to do so, I'll just speak 2 lines. That's all. That is me. So I prefer my works to speak on my behalf. So before I move, I want to appreciate the Love Umbrella team, and especially Miss and Mrs. V for bringing all of us, because if we are here, it's because of them. They make the platform available so we can come to talk about such powerful and impactful topic. And I believe as I will be going, you will receive something which it will be put you on fire and to act out there in the community. So what I'm going to talk today, it still comes from our main topic, is which means glowing from good works. Glowing from good works. So especially I'll be discussing about how you can bring out that love which you have for your community. How you can take out the love which you have for your community. And let's go next slide, please. I don't know if I'm allowed to share my screen, or I can continue to go this way. Yes. So, like, acting in the community, what does it mean? I know, especially when some of us, we come from Africa, when we begin saying that the activity like being a volunteer, people first they'll starting showing you, if I come to join what you are doing, what am I going to get? I mean, what comes first in the mind of people are money. And this is, we grown up, I think most of us who come from Africa, we can experiment this. And I was shocked when I went to developed countries, and some of us who are also in China can also witness this. When they call for volunteer, especially that action is for the purpose to bring a value in the community, people first join without ever knowing how much they're going to be paid. This has been shocked me. People are just so active in voluntarism. What I mean in volunteerism means that any activities which is bringing values in the community. And if we come back in Africa, the things is actually opposite. If you are acting something out there and you want people to join you, the first thing people ask you is that, what am I going to gain? What am I going to get out of this? What am I going to receive out of this? And it's, I hope my screen can be seen. The PPT can be seen. The PowerPoint can be seen.
It's still sharing, please.
Yes,
okay. Okay, can be seen, right? All right.
Yes.
So, yes, as the MC introduced me, actually my activity, because what we're going to share here, because I like more to share myself, because you can just give what you have. Actually, me personally, I joined the social activities. It was back 2010, and I was just, how can I say, you know, when you see something not right, and especially us who come from Africa, we like, you know, sorry, people from Africa, yeah, myself also I'm from Africa, we like to talk too much, you know, this thing is not good, this authority is not doing things right. Me, instead of talking, I was doing. Even it was still in the small portion, I'm talking about back in 2010. And in the small portion we are doing, trying to add value, which means that if I run like a special or small businesses, I used to give off for people, handicapped people. And those people that used to talk much about my small activities. My focus was simple to bring value, that's all. And later on, 2014, I joined the Young African Leaders Initiative, which is renowned more in the name of YALI. And follow up later, I was being identified by the US Department, and because that comes, they come in Africa especially to identify the youth leaders, I mean the youth who in especially social activities that are making some impact. So they will come with what you are doing already, and that come to add value to it. That is the way then I was taken as Mandela Washington Fellow. So the key points I want to emphasize here is, first, identify small things you can add value in your village, in your cities, in your small community. The truth is, the beginning, the challenge is gonna be maybe money, true, yes, because I know we're talking, I just talking, but when you go to the field, when you want to move things into action, it requires resources. I call it resources. Resources is not only money, it's also expertise. One thing I love about like being Mandela Fellow, it brings you in the networking which you not like expected in any field. I mean, it just gets you connect with people, various expertise in the world. That is the goal actually. So in any field you want expertise, you have people qualified to bring in. That is the meaning actually. So if I often say, if you have a greater vision, you need to start now and start small. Start now and start small. So the question is, if I ask here who loves his country, I know a lot of you will raise your hand, which is good. But I want to challenge you today. Today, I want to challenge you. Because everything starts by love, true. I'm happy even the platform you call it, yes, love umbrella, you see? It's true, because love is like a boosting seed. I call it a boosting seed. If you really care, then you do action. If you really care for your community, you will act. If you really care for your people, you will act. And if we really love our community or our villages, then we need now starting identify which portion in which area in my small portion I can bring value. First, don't see the barrier or limitation. When you are starting acting on the way in the platform like this, in the seminar, This is the moment where we exchange contacts. You will be bringing expertise on the way, because a lot of things I observe, the things that discourage a lot of brilliant idea, when they see that don't have enough expertise or resources, they give up. Start now, first start. When you start, try your best to joining the things that goes your vision. I'm giving an example, like if you are working, you are militating like for human rights, like or of women empowerment, you will be starting joining the seminars or the activities that goes the line. It's helping you to get connected with the expert in that field. And those experts that will only come to add value in what you have already doing. I'm only saying that they will come to add value in what you have already started. But they are not the people who are going to come to really start the work for you. No, you are the one who's going to be in the front line. And then they're only coming to add value on what you are already doing. So here I'm just giving us, how can I say, this is just an inspiration where you can see which area I can bring my value in. And you can, those data are actually from World Bank. You go in worldbank.org, you get the statistic. The statistics are show that in Africa, we're having 53% of homes who don't have a clean water. Can you imagine? This is a big number for people. It's also showing that in Africa, it remains the poorest continent according to the report of Doing Business 2019. Those data are available online. You can go and check yourself. This is just the place you can see is to show that the work are really big. That's why me often when I'm in Africa, you know, my heart is constant in fire. I'm doing something. I don't need somebody to come to tell me that, because my heart is witnesses and I'm feeling something within me. I have to act. I have to act on do something on the small portion which I have resources. And the same statistic is also showing that 43% of children suffer from malnutrition. Those are areas which can inspire you, which area I can go and start my small portion or bring my small value. It can come in form of NGO or it can come in form of startup. It's also showing that people who are born with disability, if you're in Africa born disability, mean your life is called to be miserable. While in developed country, there are systems who are bring together to support people who are born with disability. People with disability, even when I put them, because those were the people me identify in the beginning, 2010, because my heart was to those people. And in fact, it's them who started boosting me and bringing value in what I was doing on their life in the small portion. So those are the field to just bring on inspiration on your idea and which area am I going to do. Remember, business or NGO, the goal are the same, value addition. We are going there to bring a value. This is where all over. The difference is that the business and the value generating income. But the non-profits, the value is just volunteering. But also in another form, it can also generate it because a system needs to be supplied so it can keep moving. The same report also is showing that 62% of people are living under $1.9, which is showing the level of poverty. This is a reality. And you, when you find yourself in such environment, I often speak to the youth, how can you live in such environment and not getting inspired? You can lack inspiration a bit in developed country because many areas have been filled. But in our community, there are plenty. This I just mentioned few is still a lot. So it's just showing that there see a lot of things that have to be done. So coming back to Barakhat Foundation, as I thought when we started back, it was something, usually I mentioned the things for people with disability, and as time goes, vision keep growing. And how does the vision growing? Vision growing on the impact you created and on the expertise you're bringing. If some of the experts could not join the boat, I don't think we can reach this scope. I don't think we can make it this far. with our small activities so far, we'll be able to organize 20 activities, and more than 100 people was being impacted directly because all our activities are covered by Congolese media national words. Soon you'll be seeing, even you go to in our social media, that place we put our media event, the newspaper, because it's something official. So those are direct people impacted. Without mentioning those are impacted to social media because we don't have direct touch to them. But those who we know, who attend, they are over 100 and are continuing bringing value in the small portion. So this is my question I want to ask you like today, the question, because as time is going today, I prefer me, you know, me when I come in the seminar like that, I like more interaction. So I'll be talking just small, just to drop a thought, and then we'll be interacting as we move on. So the question may ask you, now what is your tone regarding the idea? The first thing you need to have like a goal. That goal, it means it's the vision actually. And when you're having a goal, you mean I'm going where? I'm going this direction. Then you're starting seeing the difficulty or the pathway you should go through. And the pathway you should go through, it shall be equipped by the vision. As I mentioned to you, you will feel challenging. I often encourage people who run those things in Africa because, I'll be honest to you, the challenge are a lot. You're having a logistic challenging because some of the villages, you cannot go there. Even you go, some media cannot cover the place. So those are a reality. But as I say, this shall not be the reason to discourage you. You will start in the small portion. Write down what I'm about to say. Anything which is good, anything which is valuable, you always bring people on board. So you will be surprised people can't put their hands on what you are doing. What we started, as I mentioned earlier, we started on something helping people, and then we moved to entrepreneurship. When we was talking to the U.S. Department, we equip leadership. So when we go there, it is experts are coming, and we move to education. We move to medical. So we work with medical doctors as well. So you see how the time is going, vision becoming brighter. So as I said, if something is good, people will join you. We join you. Will come the hand that come to put the hand. So just make sure what you are doing is a value addition. People come to bring their hands in what you're doing. So when you starting doing your activities, the thing is that you need to mobilize people, true, because there's a saying that if you want to go faster, go alone. But if you want to go far, you need people. So as you are doing your activities, make sure you are captivating the audience, not only by your action, also by your speech, because you need people to join you. Make sure you communicate well the vision of what you are doing. You communicate well what is boosting you to do what you are doing. I mean, to bring forth your identity and the identity of your organization. And you expose also how are you connected with the problem in your community. What problem do you see and how are you planning to solve it? Because people who come there, most of them, some that may not have the time to join, some of them they'll bring the resources. We talk about money here. That is the thing who's come. They'll come and invest you what you're doing. Some that don't have money, but they'll bring the expertise. As I told you, I've talked with doctors. Those that bring the expertise in what you're doing. So you should communicate where the problem you're trying to solve and how you're going to solve it. So every expert, you bring a small portion of expertise in your platform. And another thing, you should convince your audience. Why do you think that this is going to work? And what do you think that what you are doing is sustainable? What I mean sustainable, I mean in the next 5 years, it's not going to die, because there's no one who would like to invest in something going to die tomorrow. No, even yourself there. If you have resources, you agree to invest on something after 2 or 3 years, you're going to die. So you're going to make sure what you're doing, it's measurable by time. It's measurable and sustainable. Next time, the next thing I want you should make sure you convince your audience is that what do you do as an organization? You mean here it's talking about paperwork. You mean you should portray also that you are a trustworthy organization. Maybe in the beginning you may not have a paperwork, but as you are moving, make sure you register your organization. Make sure your organization is officially known. So when people who are very respected in the society, they come in your organization, they can feel also that they are putting the effort on something with the state or with the or the community recognize. In the same way, you should make sure you expose clearly the solution you are bringing. Could be in terms of product or services. It depends on how you identify the field of your operation. And lastly, you make sure you do that. What do you think what you are doing is make you special? Yeah. This is also very important. That's one I'm talking in move. Make sure you move expect, because those people that may not bring you money, but their simple presence, it creates a scene of respect to the audience. You can invite this person. It means that what you are doing is respect. It means is adding value in the community, and people can trust and even invest more on what you are doing. Okay, now we move to the next one. So as I mentioned earlier, I like to after talking, I like me more to discuss with people, have interaction. This first session I was having it in Kinshasa. In this small room, we needed to stop people. It was this room, people sit there, was sitting of over 200 people sitting over there. So we needed to stop because the room could not have more people be put inside on those rooms. Why I was doing it, actually to me, it was something small. But every time I bring it out there, I was shocked to the response. The response means how people was feeling educated they was feeling impacted actually. So it brings even more experts to come to join the board. So the key element, as I'm about to close the session, as you can see, I only have 1 minute left. So the key elements for you to succeed regarding on your vision, what you are doing. Number one, identify a really problem. Identify a really problem. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'll just give you a few examples. Those are just to lay a ground for a problem you can pick. But you should make sure you identify a problem that really exists. And go first with the idea of serving. Yes, don't bring money. I know sometimes when you're asking people to come as a volunteer, people, me, I'll bring my money on you, on what I'll bring my time on what you're doing. What are you going to pay me? I know if your organization is small, it's challenging. But go first in the idea of serving. Yes. Use method that will cause less expenses. If you want to expand, like regarding some logistic, or even to travel, even to bring a banner, or even to rent a house or auditorium, use always things which will cost you less. So it serves you some resources and money. Show how your voluntary service is helping the community. Very important. Always display the value. If people that feel that they feel strengthened, they feel blessed in what you're doing, show it off. It brings more light for others to come and work with you. Show that there are people who are willing to join you. Exactly. Always show that people who are willing to join the boat. I say you want to go far, make sure you work with people. Make sure you work with people. Convince other partners to come and join you. True. Make sure you convince the audience. Could be the authority, could be the business. Just make sure that we are here. This is what you're doing. We want more hands. And those who are witnessing your good activity, they'll always be free to join you. So those are a few of my partners. I decided to join them there. They are particularly based on DRC. Those are people who work hand by hand to create a value in the Republic Democratic of Congo. And you can follow us. Our resources are there, barakhatfoundation.org. We are also in Facebook. We are in Instagram. We are in Twitter. Those are our social platform where most our activity are in real time displayed. Thank you very much. I'm available for questions and anything you may have for me. Thank you very much. I hand over to you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Engineer Milex. Thank you so much, Engineer Milex. That was really profound and I've really learned a lot. Thank you so much. All right, so it's time for question and answer. And I don't know if anyone has any question. You can kindly send in your questions in the chat box. All right. So if there are no questions, then let's share. Let's appreciate Engineer Milex in the chat box with a love emoji, with a light emoji, with a clapping emoji. Thank you so much for being a great blessing to us this evening. Thank you so much, Engineer Milex. And so we would move on, and I would also call on Mr. Ajiman again to introduce to us our second speaker for today. Mr. Ajiman, over to you.
Thank you very much, MC. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big honor for us to zoom into our second speaker for this evening's webinar in the person of Mrs. Tena Makuku. Mrs. Tena Makuku Tendaya Makaya is the founder of Chariot, Handmaydz, and People at Heart Foundation. Madam, I can see you are smiling. Forgive me if I didn't pronounce the name well.
It's all right.
It's an amazing name. It's an amazing name. She's also an African themed jewelry designer based in Beijing, China. Her unique African design showcase the beauty that she has for African culture. She's also the director of Chariot Maguta Milling Company based in Zimbabwe. She is a motivational speaker and an author of the books Boldly Take the Step and Staying Connected. These are two books which are authored by our speaker. Through her organization, Tena seeks to create equal opportunities for women and children through empowerment programs. These programs help marginalized women and children reach their full potential. Their goal is to help in community building so that communities can sustain themselves. In this evening's seminar, Mrs. Tena Makuku will be speaking to us on starting an initiative, solving the problems with our skills, or volunteering. Mrs. Tena, I welcome you to your audience. We are ready for you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay. First, I would like to say thank you for being here and everyone who is here, and thank you to Love Umbrella Network for inviting me to be here, and also a special thank you to Mr. and Mrs. V. We are here because of you and because of your love. So first, I just want to say I love what you do. I love what love works to do, because when there is love, people can work together. Love is like an oil that makes things go. Love helps people forgive. Love helps people work together. So I love that is your baseline, and it also goes with our vision as well, just to share love to each and everyone and bring communities together. So today I'm going to be speaking on how to start an initiative solving problems with your skill of volunteering. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share our organization as a case study, because this is exactly what we do. We use our skill to empower and equip people. Like you have heard, I am a jewelry designer and I have a team behind me. And through this jewelry designing, through this skill, the profit proceeds go towards empowering and helping our community and all other people that we work with. So this is why I am going to share what we do as a case study as we move on. So can I please have the first slide? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay, could you please share the first slide?
Sure.
So while we wait for the slide to come on, I represent 3 organizations. So there is Chariot Handmaydz, which is the business, which is the jewelry making organization, which equips our foundation, which is People at Heart Foundation. And through these 2 organizations, we've managed to build a bigger sustainable business, which is a milling plant, Maguta milling plant. So yeah, so I kind of represent these 3 organizations. And through these organizations, we have been able to help different communities. Yeah.
Please,
Wow,
can you
the
see
slide
the
is
slide
taking-
now?
I cannot see it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Can everybody else see the slide?
I can see from my end.
Okay, that's fine. If you can see from your end.
I can see the slide.
Okay, so let me.
Okay, please, can you double tap on LUN Media, the participant with LUN Media, to see the slide?
As you know, charity begins at home. So our first call was our own community where I am from, which is a very small. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I had seen a message that says no voice. Okay, fine. And so one thing that we wanted to do was to help the communities be self-sustainable so that we completely eliminate poverty. Because one of the things that we realized as we were working through was the donor syndrome, that everybody was expecting to be given by an NGO. So we said, no, what we want to do is for you to be able to fend for yourself. We are going to work with you through the different stages for you to be able to fend for yourself. So our goal is to just assist the members of the community to do that. And our starting point is working with women and children, because we found out that women and children are a forgotten resource, especially in our culture. They're very resourceful in terms of maybe crafts or being strategic. So we realized that they are a very powerful, forgotten resource in the community. And so that was our starting point, because most of the women in my community were not very educated. They were most of them are not formally educated. So one thing that we wanted to show them was, you have skill, because they are good with knitting, they are good with sewing, they are good with making clay pots. So we wanted them to understand that there is something that you can bring out of whatever that you do. So that is why our starting point was working with women and children. Next slide, please. So like I said before, our initiative was just starting a jewelry organization just to show these women that through your skill, you can be self-sustainable and help someone else. So our programs include women in business. What we do with women in business is they bring up their business idea. We work with them to build up their business. So we give them the necessary education, the necessary funding. the necessary people that can actually work with them to start their own businesses. Because again, in this area, one thing that we're realizing was that there is not enough training for the women in terms of business accounting, in terms of business management in itself, though they were running their own smaller businesses. So that became one of our first projects. And we also have our educational programs, women in education and children. So some women didn't want to start businesses, but they wanted to continue with education. So we do have that program in place as well. And we have a program for children as well. So for children, we work with children from social welfare, and we also work with children from around the community. We actually build an early childhood center that helps children get that basic education, and then they go from our early childhood center into a different school that we work with until tertiary education. And then we have women workshops. In women workshop, we do like business programs that we have. We have speakers coming to speak with those women in women conferences as well. And we have different visits in the community. We have old people's home visits, orphanage visits, prison visits, just to get a feel of what the community is like and how the community wants to be involved and be helped. Then at the end of the year, we have Christmas boxes as well. And we do have food packages. So food packages depend on what's going on at that time. Like in the start of like 2020, when the pandemic hit, we gave food packages to 20 families for, I think, from the month of May to the month of November. So, and as we are doing this, we began to realize how people were coming together, and that there was so much love that was being shared through this activity. And then it actually kept us going and wanting us to do more. Next slide, please. So these are some of our success stories. So we have women in education. So we have this woman is just one of them who decided that she wanted to continue with school, and she did graduate actually with a degree in psychology, and she's running one of the biggest organizations in Zimbabwe at the moment about men's rights, and she's now all over on television, on radio, speaking about men's rights and how she is doing her part in helping the society. So that's one thing that we realized, that by sharing love, it kind of has a ripple effect. We might not get anything in return as an organization, but seeing the people that you've worked with help other people in the community is all that we want. And we have women workshops and women conferences every year. Before COVID, we had this conference. We are hoping that after this COVID era, we pick up back. We have 50 women that we take out from the city into a resort area, where we discuss, we talk business, we talk about the problems that they're going through, we share love. And at the end of it all, we give them the required packages. If they want to go into education, they take that. If they want to do projects like farming, they get into that. If they want to start businesses, they get into that. So we'll be working with them into doing everything that will be able to like empower them. Next slide, please. So like I said, I mentioned the Early Childhood Center before. So these are our kids that are in our program. So we built this Early Childhood Center from scratch because we realized that in my community, I'm not sure of other communities in Africa, but in my community, kindergarten or early childhood education was not a priority, and yet somehow it is a fundamental thing that children should do at a very early age. So what we do is we have, our school has a capacity of 30 to 40 students, but what we do is every year we enroll 6 students that are in our education program, and they go through from early childhood to primary education, secondary education, and then tertiary education. Why we take 6 children every year is because we didn't want to take them until they're done with kindergarten and then be like, okay, bye, your time is done. So that's why we enroll 6 every year. So that means the center has been running for 4 years now. That means in every level for those 4 years, we have children that are coming from our center and that are going into different stages of education. And we have children from the social welfare as well. We work with our local social welfare in my community as well. There are other children that go through different issues, different cases. So the social welfare comes to us and gives us some of these children, and we help them with education fees. We help them with stationery. Sometimes we also help them with their upbringing, because just paying fees and uniforms is not enough for the situation that they will be in. And sometimes we also work with them because they need psychological help as well. So one of the very disturbing cases that we have is a case of a child who was sexually abused by her mother's brother. And grandmother, so she told someone, and this uncle was in trouble, and grandmother was angry with this child, and grandmother chased this child away from home. And this child was then now found wandering in the woods for so many days. So someone just picked them up and took them to the social welfare. So when they go to the social welfare, that's when they spoke to the social welfare and they explained their story. And we took over from there. Another case is of one of the children that we're supporting. I think she's 5 years now. When she was 4 years, uncle just dropped him off in the street, and he was just wandering around, and someone found him and they took him to the social welfare, and the social welfare called us. So some of those children need just more than tuition fees. They need love itself, because they've been put in a position where they don't understand, because they're very young, what's going on. So that is one of the things that we do with our education program. And then the milling plant is our sustainable project, because one thing that we didn't want was to continuously rely on donations, on chariots. We wanted something for the community. So this plant was actually installed in the community, in the first community that we are working with right now. So we are hoping that everything will be in order and we will start packaging maize meal. I don't know what other people call it in their country, but maize meal is grinded corn meal. It's our staple in my country. And we will employ, okay, we actually are employing, because they've already come for the interviews, we're actually employing widows and orphans children that are above the legal age of employment. And we are hoping that this sustainable project will change the status quo of the small city where I come from, because it's a plant that grinds 9 tons, 24 hours a day. So we are hoping that we will continuously grow bigger and fund and expand into more projects that we're working on. We are working on opening a training school for women, a skills training school for women in the same community. Next slide, please. Those are just the food packages, and these are the women. These are women projects. In the women projects, like I said, we managed to get some greenhouses that were shipped from here in China. And one of the projects that we do to sustain women is through farming. Some choose farming because that's what they want. So we have these different programs that are aligned within our organization. Next slide, please. And 95% of our finances come from the jewelry sales and workshops, and 5% comes from our Chariot ambassadors. So this jewelry sales, most of our jewelry is handmade. It's beautiful. Its origin is Africa. It's the theme, though we don't necessarily get most of the of our most of our raw materials from Africa, but the theme is Africa. We try as much as we can to portray Africa in a bigger spotlight, just to change the status quo of how people feel about Africa. Because as I go to different pop-up markets to sell this jewelry, oh my goodness, the stories that I hear about Africa. So then that way you get an opportunity to share with one person that, you know what, Africa is not like this. Africa is like this. Here is the other side that you haven't heard. And then 5% comes from our Chariot ambassadors. So Chariot ambassadors are people that are well invested in Chariots, in what we do. They help with strategies. They help with different programs. They help with jewelry workshops. They help with finances as well. Next slide. So the greatest lesson that we have learned through all this is it's really possible to start an initiative and solve problems with your skills. People at Heart Foundation has taught us this, and over the years we've realized that it is doable. So my challenge to you today is, what is your skill? What is it that you can do best? And how can you be able to help the next person? We started from scratch, and you can start from scratch as well. You just have to put in your vision, and as you put in your vision, you can tie it together with your skill and how you would want it done. Next slide, please. So here's a little bit. There's so much that you can do when starting an initiative. So everybody has already spoken about identifying the need. It's very important to identify the need first, but also engage with the people in the community. One of the things that we have realized along this journey is sometimes we have what we think is the need, but as you go and work with the community, you realize that it's a totally different thing on the ground altogether. So then you have to identify the root cause of the first need. So let's say the first let's say the need is for you to create or to help people with finding employment, but what's the root cause of unemployment? So sometimes as you are starting your initiative, you really need to engage with the local community and identify what causes that, so that you tackle whatever that it is from the root, so that you're working from the ground up. Because sometimes if you build your foundation from the top, it's then hard to kind of create a baseline or a foundation for it. So then everything becomes stressful and it kind of crumbles down. We have crumbled down a lot of times because we have started from the top. So we have actually learned our lessons through what we've been doing. So as you have all these facts in place, then derive your vision. So you have your need, you have the community, then you can work on that vision that you have. You can begin to tailor make it to fit the need of the community. Next slide, please. So yeah, like I was saying, is just define your skill and how it can impact. In the case of Chariot, our skill was jewelry making. How did it bring about impact? By selling this product to the world, we then get the resources to then impact people, based on the need. And you need to look for like-minded people to work with. Sometimes it's really hard to work with people that have no idea where you're going. It's strained. So sometimes in love, it's okay to say, you know what, this season is not working for you and me in regards with this vision. It's completely okay to find people that you can work with. This is one of the things that has helped Chariot grow, is to work with people that understand where you're going, understand the need in the community, and also have the heart of love to share. And it's also important to write your plan on how you can execute using your skill efficiently. You have to keep in mind the people that you're working with, the process, and the place, because sometimes some processes don't work in certain places. We spoke about maybe in a village, there is not too much, there is no electricity. So it's kind of difficult for you to come in with a process that requires a lot of electricity. So you also have to kind of work with people, place, and the process. And your vision should then become your guideline. And one important thing that I learned also is that even if your vision is bigger, we haven't started, as Chariots, we haven't started because our vision is bigger than this. We plan to get into each and every African country, each and every community, just mobilizing people to fall in love and to become self-sustainable. But if we look at it, it's too big. So we had to kind of break it down and start with one community, step by step. Step by step. It's very important to take it step by step and also create a system that works for you and for your team, as well as the people that you're working with, because then you become a huge team. Your team becomes broad. It's not just you anymore. You had the idea, so it's good to let go of the idea, and also then take action. when all this is done, you can have it on paper, but if you don't take action, it's just there, nothing will happen. So the final thing is just to take action. So this can work in whether you want to become a volunteer or whether you want to actually start an initiative in your community. I believe it works both ways. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. For listening. So yeah, the thing is, assess, always take time to observe. It's important, and evaluate if your skill is kind of bringing the result, because sometimes you can work and work and work and work and there is no result that is coming. It's okay. You just have to go back to the drawing board and see where you're going wrong and regroup and continuously engage with your community. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. And if you want to get in touch with me, here is my email. And I think on the first slide is our website. If you want to read more about what we do, they are on the first slide. You can kind of look at our website and have an idea of what we do fully. Yeah. So thank you very much for listening.
That was incredible. That was incredible. I'm really impressed. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so I have a question here for you. For what challenges did each of the organizations you are affiliated to? Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Sorry for that. Okay, so my question is, what challenges did each of the organizations that you are affiliated to are they facing now? What challenges are they facing now, and how are you overcoming each of the challenges?
Okay, so the first challenge that we had with Chariot in the beginning was for people to believe in handcrafts. We still have people right now that will say it doesn't work. Like handcrafts cannot be a business in my part of the world. Like handcrafts cannot be a business. It doesn't work. And when we were starting, I remember we got so many names, but we are here today. So that was a big stumbling block for us. And yeah, and also the other problem that we get is kind of balancing the two worlds in terms of we are in China, which is an international community. It's different when you move back into our own community in terms of pricing, in terms of what's required. So that also has been a biggest hurdle for us. And with People at Heart Foundation, which is the hardcore of sharing love, our biggest challenge is to help people become self-sustainable, because most of the times people are just like, well, I am entitled. You are an NGO, you're a non-profit, so I am entitled to get whatever that you want to give. So then we always have this conversation that, you know what, you first 3 months, we will supply. After 3 months, we want to see your business plan. We want to see your project, and we're going to monitor it for the next 6 months, and you're going to come and report back to us. So it's usually a big fight. But as we are working with people, and as they are joining our organization, because when we work with someone, they become part of the organization if they want, so that they'll be able to share their experience and empower someone else. And for the education part, we've spoken about the social welfare. So some of the children are not in our reach. like we had 3 girls that were in different locations in the rural areas. So we don't have a say or power or whatever that we can call it over them. So if mom decides that they don't go to school, they don't go to school, despite the fact that you have paid for school fees. If their guardian decides that she's a girl child, she's not, the boy child can go to school, even if you're paying the fee. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing. And for Chariots, for Maguta, which is the business side, is we've been learning so much, and the community is like, well, they are seeing the size of the machine and they're like, oh, you have too many resources. Again, we go back to give us. But yeah, we always take time to sit down with people and share our vision with them and what we are for and what we are doing, and ask them to join and share their ideas, because we realize that the people on the other side that are not in the organized have so many brilliant ideas. So yeah, those are the challenges that we're facing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so the next question is, how do you mobilize people or get the like-minded people to support the vision, to look into what you are into? How do you get people to become a part of the organization?
So I think when we were talking about, when I first got in, somebody spoke about your character, your determination, your motivation towards your goal. So you have, because people see for them to believe. So they have to see what you're doing first. So for the first year, we had very few people that were interested in what we're doing. Why? Because there was nothing really tangible. But as we continuously spoke to people and invited them to come and see, transparency is also important. You have to be transparent. Transparency, as we're sharing with them what we're doing, we then got a lot of people to come in and join. But I won't lie to you, in the beginning, it's really hard to find people. You might even be friends, but your visions are different. They see something else, you see something else. It's totally okay for that to happen. But because you have that vision, you have to be determined to make it work and to keep working. So people would then come because of the work that you're doing, the consistency, the transparency. Then people begin to join in. Yeah.
That was profound. Thank you so much, Mrs.
You're
Tina.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Let's show some love to Mrs. Tina in the chat box. Thank you so much for that impressive
Thank you for having us.
speech. Yeah. All right. And so we'll move on to the next session, and we would invite the media team to give us something on works of love.
To Bayeku, a riverine community in Ikorodu, Lagos, a vivid representation of several riverine communities across Nigeria, communities whose waterways have been infested by an invasive aquatic weed, communities where economic livelihoods have been hampered, fishing, marine transportation, and trading, communities where fish yields have diminished, communities where school children are unable to go to school for days, sometimes weeks on end. Who would have thought that this plant with round leaves, inflated stems, and showy lavender flowers would cause such havoc in these communities? The plant is known as water hyacinth, and its botanical name, Iconia crassus. Interestingly, in Nigeria, the plant is also known by other names, names associated with historical events as well as myths. In some places, the plant is called Babangida. When you hear Babangida, you remember the military and military coups, and you think fear, restraint. In parts of Nigeria in the Niger Delta, the plant is also known as Abiola. When you hear Abiola, you remember annulled elections and you think dashed hopes. In the southwestern part of Nigeria, the plant is known as Gbeboro. Gbeboro is a Yoruba phrase which translates to gossip or talebearer. And when you think of gossip, you think rapid reproduction, destruction. And in the Igala-speaking part of Nigeria, the plant is known as Akpiyekpoma. When you hear that, you think of death. It literally translates to death to mother and child. I personally had my encounter with this plant in the year 2009. It was shortly after I had relocated from the US to Nigeria. I'd quit my job in corporate America and decided to take this big leap of faith, a leap of faith that came out of a deep sense of conviction that there was a lot of work to do in Nigeria in the area of sustainable development. And so here I was in the year 2009, actually at the end of 2009, in Lagos on the Third Mainland Bridge. And I looked to my left and saw this very arresting image. It was an image of fishing boats that had been hemmed in by dense mats of water hyacinth. And I was really pained by what I saw because I thought to myself, oh, these poor fisher folk, how are they going to go about their daily activities with these restrictions? And then I thought, there's got to be a better way, a win-win solution whereby the environment is taken care of by the weeds being cleared out of the way, and then this being turned into an economic benefit for the communities whose lives are impacted the most by the infestation of the weed. That, I would say, was my spark moment. And so I did further research to find out more about the beneficial uses of this weed. And out of the several, one struck me the most. It was the use of the plant for handicrafts. And I thought, what a great idea. Personally, I love handicrafts, especially handicrafts that are woven around a story. And so I thought this could be easily deployed within the communities without the requirement of technical skills. And I thought to myself, 3 simple steps to a mega solution. First step, get out into the waterways and harvest the water hyacinth. That way you create access. Secondly, you dry the water hyacinth stems. And thirdly, you weave the water hyacinth into products. The third step was the challenge. See, I'm a computer scientist by background and not someone in the creative arts. And so began my quest to find out how I could learn how to weave. And this quest took me to a community in Ibadan where I lived called Sabo. Sabo translates to strangers' quarters. And the community is predominantly made up of people from the northern part of the country. So I literally took my dried weeds in hand, there were several more of them, and went knocking from door to door to find out who could teach me how to weave these water hyacinth stems into ropes. And I was directed to the shed of Malam Yaya. The problem, though, was that Malam Yaya doesn't speak English, and neither did I speak Hausa. But some little kids came to the rescue and helped translate. And that began my journey of learning how to weave and transform these dried water hyacinth stems into long ropes. With my long ropes in hand, I was now equipped to make products. And that was the beginning of partnerships, working with rattan basket makers to come up with products. So with this in hand, I felt confident that I would be able to take this knowledge back into the riverine communities and help them to transform their adversity into prosperity. So taking these weeds and actually weaving them into products that can be sold. So we have pens, we have tableware, We have purses, we have tissue boxes, thereby helping the communities to see water hyacinth in a different light. Seeing water hyacinth as being valuable, being aesthetic, being durable, tough, resilient, changing names, changing livelihoods. From Beborun, gossip, to Olushotan, storyteller. And from Akpiekpoma, which is killer of mother and child, to Yadujenwiekpoma, provider of food for mother and child. And I'd like to end with a quote by Michael Margulies. He said, if you want to learn about a culture, listen to the stories. And if you want to change a culture, change the stories. And so from Makoko community to Abobiri, to Ewoy, to Kolo, to Awawa, Esaba, we have changed the story. Thank you for listening.
That was great. Wow, changing names, changing the story, changing lives, changing the world. That was great. Thank you so much, LU and media. And so moving on, we would call on Mr. Ajiman to introduce to us our third speaker. Over to you, Mr. Ajiman.
Thank you very much, MC. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we are being equipped, but it's not over yet. Moving on, we are going to receive from our third speaker for tonight in the person of Barrister Justina Abayoye Ajala. Justina Abayoye Ajala is an experienced legal practitioner with years of working history in legal practice. An exceptional professional with an impressive range of legal practice skills applied across advocacy, mediation, legal advice, legal research, and legal writing. Her passion to make difference in her immediate community, coupled with her passion for networking, has inspired the birth of many successful initiatives, projects, and communities. She is the recipient of several national and international awards, such as the Empowered United Nations Recognition Award as one of the most influential people of Africa descent in 2021. She is currently pursuing her doctorate degree in international law focused on women's rights at Beijing Institute of Technology. She has published legal articles in top legal journals. Ladies and gentlemen, in this iGLOW webinar, she will be speaking to us on how to build successful non-profit organizations. Barrister Justina, if you can hear me, your audience are ready for you. I welcome you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello? Can hear you.
Yes, we can. Okay, I want to be sure you can. Okay, all right. Sorry, I'll be using two devices because my network sometimes is not good. So in case you can't hear me, kindly let me know. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to appreciate the organizer, Love Umbrella, and Mr. and Mrs. V for the opportunity to be part of this seminar with these amazing speakers. I've learned a lot, and thank you for today. So can you share my screen? Oh, can you see my the PPT? Okay. Okay, I think it can be seen. Yeah, I love the name of the organizer, which is Love Umbrella. Doing good works emanate from love. If you want to succeed in building a non-profit organization, you must be passionate and have love for what you do before you can make a positive impact. God works requires love. You know, love is very important. God works requires love. And the scripture in 1 Corinthians 16 verse 4 says, do everything in love, which means it includes non-profit organization because you have to be willing to do good works for you to show love to people without gaining anything, without profit. Your love to make an impact triggers your actions to take steps in building an organization that will affect community, people, animal, environment, or whatever your target on the audience is. Do you have a passion to do good works, but you don't know how to start? Or you have a feeling you can make impact, but you don't know how to go about it? Or you're struggling to fund your nonprofit organization? I believe this section will be helpful in giving you a better understanding on how to build a nonprofit organization that is purpose-driven and give you clarity on what should be done to start. Please, can you move the slide? Okay. The next slide, please. Okay, so for today, I will be speaking on I divided this teaching today into two parts. How to, before starting a nonprofit organization, and stages you can use to build your nonprofit organization. And so I will start by letting you to know 3 things to do or put into consideration before even starting to form a nonprofit organization. 1, understand the need you're trying to address. Please, the next slide. Yeah. So 1, understand the need you're trying to address. A lot of people have ideas and projects. Some have programs and events, but it's a very wrong approach to start with this. You need to start with the need, not your ideas. Yes, you have ideas, but that is not the best way to go about it. I know most of us in this meeting today are also believers. Permit me to say that before making any decision, especially before venturing into a non-profit organization, seek for the help of the Holy Spirit to guide you into making the right decision. Don't base your ideas, don't start based on your ideas. You have to do a thorough you also have to do a thorough research to gain more understanding of what you want to do. Think about your target audience or demography you're trying to reach. And secondly, study the landmark of other organizations in the same geographical location you're hoping to set in. You need to know who else is doing the same work you're planning to start, because you might have to compete with the same donor for funding, which ultimately may distract you from making the set impact. However, if you must or you need to do the same work that a different organization is already doing in the same geographical location, it is advisable to look at the gap in which the competitors haven't fixed and focus on making an impact in that area. And so that you'll be able to make an impact in that area. Because if somebody else is doing the same work that you're planning to set in, you may have to compete. So you have to do investigation and know about the competitor so that you can make a meaningful impact in that area. And thirdly, have a business plan that will be financially sustainable. You need to have a clear goal and vision and work on financing the nonprofit organization. Your business plan is very, very important to your success in building a nonprofit organization. If you don't have a finance, your nonprofit organization may not succeed and you may not make that meaningful impact that you have in mind. So please, the next slide. There are stages you need to go through in order to build a nonprofit organization. And this is more like a roadmap. I will give you like 7 stages to a successful, 7 stages you can use to build a successful non-profit organization. First of all, you need to make a decision as to what area you want to contribute or make an impact. You have to make choices. There are a lot of choices available, but there's that particular one that resonates more with you at the time of your decision making. At that time, at this stage, you feel like you want to make an impact in your community or whatever the case is. I will call this stage the 0 stage. It involves everything you need to do to make a decision as to how to start the nonprofit organization. And there are many alternatives to starting. However, at this stage, it means you understand the roles, challenges, benefit that comes with starting. And this will help you to determine if you want to start or not, because you have to make a decision before venturing into it. Don't just rush into it because you have an idea. No. So you have to plan and make a decision about it. And then the first stage is called the formation of legal entity. At this stage, you already have a name, a clear vision, mission statement, and you have to develop structure. In this stage, you determine what position you want to have in your organization, because you cannot just be anyone in the organization. And you also have to form the legal entity. Most founders skip this stage, but this stage is very important. That's the formation of the legal entity. This stage is also important to funding, if you need fund for your organization. And in this stage, you have to do if you have to do non-profit organization, you have to do your registration as well in this first stage. And mind you, you have to understand the provision of the law of the country you plan to set your organization before starting. For example, here in China, especially in mainland China, mainland China does not allow registration of non-profit organization by foreigners. Incorporation of social organization and private non-enterprise units in China is restricted only to the establishment by Chinese nationals or PLC entities. However, according to the overseas NGO law, foreign NGOs, including foundation, social groups, think tank, and other non-profit organizations from Macau, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and the foreign countries. There are two ways to operate in China. One is by setting up a representative office, which is RO in China, or conducting a temporary activities after filling the activities with the relevant authority. So this stage is very important in forming your entity. And the second stage is you have to develop your purpose. You have to crystallize your mission statement, which is which we attract funders, because you need profits, you need fund. So you have to have a clear vision, clear statement, mission statement. Funders look out for this in order to make a decision if they want to fund you or not. Your vision and mission must be clear and distinct, so that you have all the elements and the essential element before starting. This stage is actually the starting point of your organization, from developing your program, building your website, determining your collaborators, to developing your strategies. Everything you do centers on your organization purpose, which is on this stage. That's developing your purpose. And the third stage is develop your plans. In this stage, you must have a clear goal and objective. By now, you know who your target audience is. By this stage 3, you know who your target audience is. If it's, your target audience could be maybe you are targeting women, girls, well, whatever. You know your target audience, and you know what you want to deliver or what impact you want to make. This stage, you have to have all the foundation of a non-profit organization, and it's also important to stage yourself, because once you stage yourself with these stages that I'm trying to let you know, it will help you better, and it makes you to stay more focused, and you'll be distracted while you're forming your non-profit organization. And so stage 4, please, the next slide. Stage 4, you have to choose your leadership board. Yes, stage 4, you have to choose your leadership board. You need leadership team to help you move your organization forward. You need people that will support your dream, people that will help you. You can't do it alone. And definitely you need people that will help you. So you need to choose your leadership board. At this stage, you need to determine how you want each of them to work with you and how long. Sometimes your team members or board members may revolve over time, depending on your organization and even your location. For example, here in China, a lot of non-profit organization team members and team members and even leaders changes, because here is more like a transitional place for a lot of people, and people move over time and people keep changing. So let me use ADICNet as an example. That's African Diaspora in China Network. Is more like an NGO. The people we started with when we started the organization are no longer in China. Majority left because of the COVID pandemic. Why some graduated and some left due to many reasons. So it's very important to choose your team members, and know how you want them to work with you. Then we have stage 5. Stage 5, you have to build a system. Remember that a non-profit organization is actually a business. It's just a business without a non-profit purpose. So you have to set a system to generate funds, have financial statements, generate reports compliance. This stage is basically on how your organization works. If you don't know how to generate a financial statement, then you are not qualified for funding at all. In order for funders to have confidence and trust your organization, you need to build a system to receive funds and generate financial statements. Funders want to see indicators and know that their investments will yield tangible results. And they will just want to spend their money. They want to invest in you, but they have to see it. Remember, nonprofit funders' role is solely to fund non-profit organizations. So they have the fund, but they have to see indicators that their investments will not be wasted. So it is very important that you have all this financial statement. And remember, yes, and because funders want to invest where their fund funders will not want to invest where their fund will not be properly managed or used. Therefore, building a system is highly important. In addition, building a system will also help you to monitor and track your progress as well. And so it is very important to stage yourself so you know where you are and what you need to do. If not, you burn yourself and it will be quite stressful for you. And you might have even lost a lot of time. So forming a non-profit organization is time consuming. It's very time consuming. So going through this stage will save you a lot of time, save you hundreds of hours. So that's why I've tried to stage it so it will be easier for you if you're planning to have a non-profit organization. And so let's continue with the stages. And then we have the stage 6. Okay, stage 6, build your credibility. The non-profit sector is a very small community, I must say. Funders talk to each other, and that's why a lot of non-profit organizations continue to get funding, because a funder will say to another funder on the same board to check out a particular non-profit institute. And if you are not progressive, they can easily tell each other not to invest in your organization. For example, if your organization have the habit of submitting reports late or have been involved in the mismanagement of funds, they can easily tell each other. So it is important to build credibility. Build credibility and be trustworthy. And how do you build credibility? You build credibility by making your organization more competitive for funding. And what does that mean? That means you have to build collaboration and gain visibility. I like that Mrs. Tina, she shows pictures of what our organization has done. And it's always very important to build a portfolio of your social proof of your organization successes, like using the social media to project yourself, because that's what the funder wants to see if you need funds for your organization. So you have to tell your success story. Nobody will tell it for you. So you have to gain visibility. Funders want to see your success story. They want to know you are worth investing in. Funders don't have all the money in the world to fund everybody, no, but you have to build that credibility and visibility. So this stage focuses on your market strategies, how to tell your story of your organization and the impact you're making. So stage is extremely important to nonprofit organization that requires funding. So you have to really build your credibility, and you have to be trustworthy as well. And then we have the last stage, which is stage 7, is building a sustainable nonprofit organization. In this final stage, a nonprofit organization this final stage is a journey. Like I said, you have to go through the stage. So this is the final stage. It's more like a journey. Yeah, you want to scale up. You want to scale up to a higher level, but you're not quite sure how. So scaling up requires a strong foundation, and it's going to require a lot of financial investment, social capital investment, but it is about having the right processes in place. Like I mentioned, there are stages. You have to have your team. You have to have the team that run the organization, and preparing your mind to also scale up. You have to prepare your mind. You have to have the right mindset to grow if you really want to scale up. You can't continue to the same thing and expect a different result. Is not possible. Know your numbers, because it will influence your decision making and how to improve on it. And it also give you the opportunity to even get more funders that will fund your organization, because you definitely need, if you are already progressing and then you get more fund, definitely you do better. So this stage is very important. And on this stage, you also have to think about a succession plan, that even when you're no longer around, the organization continues and they continue to make impact, the impact that you have initially when you started. So you have to think of a succession plan in this stage. And so now I believe that you have already figured out, using the stages, on what level you are, if you're planning to have a non-profit organization. These stages will help you to know what to do at every stage, and that's why I've tried to stage it into 7 stages, so it will be easier for you if you have plans to do that. So I would recommend that you go through the stages. These stages look easy, but it takes time, and if you don't want to waste your time, it's better you go through the stages so it can guide you on the right path. And as you move through each stage, as you move through each of the stages that I mentioned, from the 1st stage to the 7th stage, it all boils down to launching. Please, the next slide. It boils down to launching, growing, and scaling. So if you want to be involved in a non-profit organization, you can either be a founder, that is the person that initiates the non-profit organization, or you can be a funder. These are the people that finances non-profit organization. And you can even be a volunteer, helping and supporting the initiative. So if you aspire to be to have a non-profit organization, so you can fill in any of this role as being a founder or be a funder, and you can also volunteer as well. So I would like to close with the scripture in Hebrews 6:10, which says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. So thank you. I hope thank you for listening, and I hope you understand everything I said. So if you want to build a non-profit organization, these stages will help you. And so thank you so much. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me, and I will try to answer your question. Thank you.
Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that wonderful? Thank you so much, Barrister Justina. Let's appreciate our speaker in the chat box. Thank you so much, Barrister. And so we have one question here for you, and it says, what is the turn in reward for finders of non-profit organizations, since they may not get money in return, unlike profit organizations where they get returns? What is their return?
Okay, like I said, it depends on the role you want to play in a non-profit organization. Even funders, like I mentioned, they also have a goal because they believe in the non-profit organization, and that is why they can invest in it. They believe in your dream. So that is their return. Some people feel satisfied that they are supporting a non-profit organization by putting their fund, because they know that the fund they are investing will yield a positive impact on somebody else. So that is the joy. It may not be, you might not be able to qualify it. So it depends on the funder and where the funder is investing, because there are a lot of non-profit organizations that are targeted to different things. So definitely a funder will look for a non-profit organization that resonates with him, or that will make the impact that he wants. So it depends on the individual. So I cannot really say this is what the funder intends to get from the non-profit organization. It cannot be quantified. So that's how I will answer the question. I hope I answered your question though. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And I see one other question in the chat box. It says, how do you plan to implement the idea?
How do you plan to implement the idea? Which of the ideas? Because I mentioned stages, so I don't know which of the ideas the person is talking about. Are you saying before starting a non-profit organization? You know, like I said, you have to think about the need, not the idea, because starting with an idea is actually a wrong approach. So many people have ideas. Everybody, you just see something and you feel, oh, this is a good idea, but that may not be the right way to start the non-profit organization. You have to meet the need of the organization. So I don't know what exactly the person is asking.
Okay, thank you so much. I was waiting for the person to back up the question, but then I would move on. Thank you so much, Barrister Justina. Indeed, you can either be a founder, a funder, or a volunteer. Thank you so much. And so we would go on to the next session, which is our last session, and we would have our last speaker for today's event. I would call on Ajiman to give us the introduction. Hello, can you hear me, Ajiman?
Hello.
All right.
Yes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to be part of a non-profit organization. Moving on in our Knowledge Pack webinar for today, we are going to hear from our final speaker for tonight in the person of Engineer Oluleke Babayomi. Engineer Oluleke Babayomi is a registered engineer, as I mentioned, and is working in renewable energy research and development with a core focus on clean energy conversion with power electronics. He's currently the Senior Marketing Director of the IEEE Smart Village of the United States of America. He was a principal engineer and a software development team leader in Nigeria's Space Research and Development Agency. He has more than 10 years cumulative experience in renewable energy design, installation, research, and development. Oluleke has a 4-year of commercial banking experience in Nigeria as an award-winning business relationship or sales manager to several engineering and technical businesses in the leading banks in Nigeria. He had at least 50 million USD sales per annum. He also led the facilitation of banks' projects by financing several investments up to the quantum of 35 million each and a total of 55 million USD. Babayomi holds a BSc and an MSc degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the University of Lagos in Nigeria, and is a doctoral candidate of electrical engineering at Shandong University in China. In this webinar, which is knowledge-packed, Engineer Babayomi will be speaking to us on how to maximize opportunities with IEEE Smart Village and to solve problems in our local community or our societies. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Engineer Babayomi. Sir, if you can hear me, we are ready for you. Thank you very much.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, please, you are.
All right. So good evening to everybody. Thank you so much to the organizers for inviting me for this event. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I think, and also appreciate the wonderful lineup of speakers we've had who have shared from their experience and insights, and also the impacts they've made. So I'll go right on to what I'm supposed to discuss today. And I'll be talking about, so my name is Oluleke Babayami, like you already know, and I'll be talking about IEEE Smart Village, what we do, and how you can partner with us. So IEEE Smart Village has a motto that goes thus: power a village, empower community. In the discussion that preceded mine just now, Barrister Justina talked about what to do to start an NGO. And I'm going to be talking from the perspective of the funders. I'll also be talking from the perspective of a community of people who can inspire your non-profit organization toward making impact. So I'll give you get further details as I continue. So the motivation for the IEEE Smart Village is that all over the world, about 800 million people today do not have consistent access to electricity. And this is all, especially in Africa and in Asia. So this means that many things that we do and we take for granted with respect to electricity, they have to struggle to achieve. And this is where IEEE Smart Village comes in. IEEE Smart Village started in 2009, and it was founded by two co-founders, Dr. Ray Larson and Dr. Robin Podmore. And you'll learn more about the work that has been done by the IEEE Smart Village over the past 12, 13 years. Now, what IEEE Smart Village tries to do is to provide electricity, to integrate electricity education and entrepreneurship in order to provide sustainable livelihoods for people in those rural areas. Now, who are we? We're a social venture fund. We provide seed funds to enterprises, but we are not charity. You can see in this photograph one of the co-founders. This is Dr. Robin Podmore, working with, he has such a passion for visiting underserved areas around the world. So it just aligned, and this is what he just does as a passion. He has his professional line of business, but this aspect of IEEE Smart Village is just a passion. So yeah, his own kind of good works. Now, who are we still? We help to create scalable and self-sustaining enterprises in underserved communities for livelihood improvements through productive use of renewable energy. So we put a lot of emphasis on productive use of renewable energy in the IEEE Smart Village. And you know what the IEEE is, okay, I didn't introduce the IEEE. I talked about the IEEE Smart Village. The IEEE, like you can see, IEEE.org, is the world's largest technical professional organization that has more than 400,000 members. Now, the IEEE Smart Village is one of the flagship humanitarian programs of the IEEE. Okay, so it's one of the flagship humanitarian programs of the IEEE. So now I'm not going to talk much about IEEE, but I'm going to talk more about the IEEE Smart Village. So I'm a member of both. I'm a senior member of the IEEE, and I'm also a member of, and also I'm a leader within the IEEE Smart Village. Now, just a moment. Okay, great. I'm done with that. So in the IEEE, IEEE Smart Village, we believe that you can, and we can make an impact and become change agents. And therefore, we provide an environment for incubators or for incubation of energy entrepreneurs. So if you have a passion and interest in working in underserved areas around the world, regardless of where you're from, including China, because we have representation in China. I've been doing some work recently with the team in China. So there's yeah. So you'll learn about where we are spread around the world as I continue. So we incubate energy entrepreneurs to create self-sustaining programs, and part of how we operate is to build, encourage, to support, and to provide mentoring, and to provide an environment where entrepreneurs can flourish. So we foster life-changing education programs, we boost local economies, we address humanitarian needs around the world, and I'll still show you very soon we're represented in about 18 countries of the world. We also provide seed funding to allow local energy entrepreneurs develop local self-sustaining programs in 3 ways. Very soon, I'm going to show you the IEEE method, the IEEE Smart Village method. It's a bit different from how several other organizations around the world operate, but you'll learn more about that shortly. Now, all these photographs that you can see here are taken from actual sites where they're represented, actual sites. So you can see Asia on the left, you can see on the right. Okay, you can see Nigeria down there, you can see Himalayas to the right-hand side, upper right. So the IEEE Smart Village approach is done in such a manner that several sustainable development goals are attained simultaneously. We have about 11 of them that are attained, from no poverty to zero hunger, to quality education, to reducing inequalities, but especially we pay attention to affordable and clean energy towards providing sustainable livelihoods to people around the world. And we just highlight a few of our achievements here in respect of no poverty. In the areas where we are operational, there's at least 10% average income increase in those communities. Then we also, and that, since there's income increase, then hunger is reduced, because the more money you have, the less hungry you'll be, except you choose not to eat. Then we also help in providing good health and well-being through powering medical facilities. And we pay a lot of attention to quality education. I'm going to talk about this very soon. And we've impacted more than 14,000 students in schools powered by the IEEE Smart Village. Now, the IEEE Smart Village approach is to seed fund local energy entrepreneurs so that they are able to provide and make lasting impact in the places where they operate. And we believe that this leads to sustainable generational impact. So the idea is you will not see someone that is from maybe the United States coming to Kenya to do business, but they rather believe that the guys who are there, who live there, understand that terrain better, and they know the needs of those people better, so they can provide you guidance, support towards achieving your vision and objectives in the communities where you serve. So the approach that the IEEE utilizes, Smart Village utilizes, is unique in that it has 3 pillars, which are enterprise, education, and electricity. Enterprise, education, and electricity. So with respect to enterprise, we believe that somebody, the person who spoke before me talked, that's Justina, right? Justina talked about having a plan for sustainability income. And this is one of the criteria of the IEEE Smart Village. IEEE Smart Village will not fund or support any organization that does not plan to make money. If all you want to do is just collect money and spend on humanitarian works, no, then your vision does not align with the IEEE Smart Village. The IEEE Smart Village believes that sustainability can only happen if you have a plan to make money, to have income. And the fact that you're an NGO does not mean that you cannot make returns. The only thing that makes you different is that you are, now let me put it more clearly, legally, those organizations that we like to call NGOs, they are what we call non-profit organizations. So that means your main objective is not to make profits, but doesn't mean you cannot make money. So you can make money, but not necessarily for profit to enrich the owners. However, with all the other organizations that are like limited liability companies and the PLCs, their goal is to make profits, to increase the capital base, and to increase the assets size of the organization. Okay, so I could go about talking about the fact that when you make money, in a balance sheet of an organization, you have assets and you have liabilities. So in the asset side, you have capital, you have what other thing you have? You have fixed capital, and other forms of and working capital and all the stuff. So when you make profits, profitability also adds to your capital. But when you make losses, it erodes the capital. So the idea is you want to, it doesn't matter really the structure that you utilize, doesn't matter to the IEEE Smart Village, whether you're not for profit or a for profit organization. What just matters is that you have a plan to make impact in underserved target areas. Then we believe very strongly in education, because education is a very, very important component towards the liberation of people from poverty. There's a strong correlation between how well people are educated and their financial status. Then we also believe very strongly in electricity. So we support people who have plans to operate in these three dimensions and utilizing these three pillars. Now, the IEEE Smart Village approach also consists of this plan. I told you earlier on that we started in 2009. Now, when the IEEE Smart Village started, it was not started as a formal organization in the sort, but what they used to do are programs, they used to fund competitions and all of that stuff. But in 2011, the IEEE Power and Energy Society and the Nuclear Power Society came together and formalized this, but spearheaded by the co-founder that I talked about earlier on. And the mission at that point in time was to provide solar electricity to underserved areas around the world. However, a lot of things have happened over the time, and a lot of lessons have been learned. And since 2020, the mission is now specifically not just for the sale of solar electricity, but to actually fund productive use of renewable energy around the world. Productive use of renewable energy around the world. And since that 2020, the IEEE's, the ISV, that's the Smart Village, IEEE Smart Village, is now, supported by 14 IEEE societies. Some of them, okay, so I've showed you solar lighting. Programs that we support include solar lighting, smart irrigation, aquaculture, food processing, mushroom, agrivoltaics, telehealth, tele-education, telecommerce, honey processing, gem cutting, drill making. All these programs are programs that have been funded. And I want to be aware that a lot of effort goes into scrutinizing the business plan and even the capacity of the people behind the program to deliver competently. So these are some partner IEEE societies. If you're a member of IEEE, you probably can see your society among these ones. Now, there are three categories of projects that the IEEE Smart Village funds. We have the regular project, we have the small project, and the special project. The regular projects are projects that are up to $200,000, and they must, as a rule, incorporate the three pillars I earlier mentioned: electricity, education, and enterprise or entrepreneurship. Electricity, education, and enterprise. Now, we also fund small projects up to $25,000, but these are usually for pilots and technological development or surveys, that is feasibility study surveys. We also have special projects that are donor designated, meaning that a particular donor would say, I'm interested in this project at this very location. So we also fund based on that. I'm going to take you through the profile of some developers that IEEE has worked with. That is the ISV. So from now on, I'll call our organization our ISV. So when you hear me say ISV, it means the IEEE Smart Village. So we've worked with several developers, like I mentioned, in 18 countries of the world. I'm going to mention some of them right now. Now, we are represented in the Americas. You can see Ecuador on the left side, Haiti, Honduras, the United States. In Africa, we're in Cameroon. We have active people operating in Kenya, Malawi, Namibia, Nigeria, South Sudan, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia. So I believe that some people from these countries can hear the names of the countries and probably are happy. We also have representation in Asia, India, Nepal, Papua New Guinea, Vietnam, and China. This presentation was made before the China one got active. So there are 87 projects have been funded in 18 countries since 2009, and there are currently 16 active projects. 16 active means they are still running and have not been completed. So let me talk about the profile of some of the developers who work with us. We have GV Projects. GV Project was founded by Ifeanyi Orojaka. Some of you might know him. Ifeanyi Orojaka, that's the Green Village Electricity Company. So this is a for-profit organization. It's a limited liability company. So it's for profit. Ifeanyi started this organization when he was an undergraduate in the university. And he started in 2009 by participating in a competition that the IEEE did, which was the president's competition tagged Change the World Project Challenge. It was a very strong proposal that was found very innovative at that point in time in respect of this concept called microgrids for underserved areas. At that time, it was not common. It was very rare. In fact, this guy, Ifeanyi, right now, go and ask everybody who is in the microgrid business or mini grid business in Africa, and they usually call him the grandfather of microgrids or mini grids in Africa, because he started when nobody was doing it. So in 2010, he got some funding from the IEEE for $12,000. In 2012, he got some more funding, and he has kept on growing over the years and over the years and over the years. In 2019, just 3 years ago, he was recognized by the London Stock Exchange, that is the organization he founded, GV, as a fast-growing African energy company. In fact, I remember that event. The organization was named probably the fastest-growing renewable energy company in in Africa. Renewable energy companies in Africa. And in 2020, they are set to impact, their vision is to impact 1 million lives with 300 plus micro utilities. Look at what he said. He said that through the seed funding, so the first ever seed funding he got for his business was from the IEEE, through the IEEE Smart Village, that is us. He said, through this seed funding, we've grown our business from being a startup founded by 3 young Nigerian undergraduate students in 2012 to a social enterprise that has become the largest PV solar mini grid for energy access in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, I'll talk about another developer in India that is called the Global Himalayan Expedition. The Global Himalayan Expedition has a vision to utilize power for ecotourism and transform mountain communities. For those of you who are a bit familiar with tourism, you're aware that the Himalayan range receives a lot of tourists every year who want to climb the mountains. And this organization was the first to create a sustainable business model in that area, such that those villagers, because all those mountainous communities consist of lots of village communities, many of them very remote. So these guys take electricity there, and they created a means by which these communities now create sustainable businesses like hotels and provide services to all these tourists to come over to that place. And they're doing very, very well. Since 2015, they've been operating successfully, and they've won several global awards. They got there among their first set of funding from us, the IEEE Smart Village. That is seed funding. And they've grown and grown because their business model is sustainable. And this is one thing the IEEE Smart Village does. In fact, I remember something our leaders said, the founders said, in the more than 12 years that this organization has been existing, all the businesses that they funded since inception are still operational 10 years after. They've grown very, very big because they pay very careful attention to the quality of the people and the quality of projects they fund. And today, this organization in India has impacted more than 140 villages in India alone. Let me talk about Kenya. In Kenya, we have the Mar Trust. The Mar Trust, these guys are doing a very, very, very impactful work. I even know the founder. She's living there she's originally, the leader of this organization is originally British. She migrated to Kenya because she was so passionate about stuff like this, and she's living there with her family right now. She's been doing this for about 10 years. So this is not something people do because, oh, they just want to make money. No, they do it because they realize they just have a passion and it's a sort of calling for them. So the Mara Trust has a vision to work towards a harmonious balance between conservation and sustainable human development in the Masai Mara area. And till date, they've trained more than 700 women, including more than 30 men as well. And they support several schools with supplies and make a lot of vocational training impact in that region. So as I conclude very soon, I'll talk about the final developer in Cameroon, renewable energy innovators. Their vision is to champion electrification of communities with reliable, affordable, and transformative electricity, fostering development. One of the things that makes this organization stand out is that the founder, Jude, is a very outstanding person. He never went to university. He just had this passion for solar and renewable energy. And he's self-taught. He learned how to build these things by himself, how to create this system, solar-based electric systems by himself. He started way back in the early 2000s or thereabout. And as we speak, in 2021, he got an approval for almost $1 million from the United States government to fund feasibility study for 134 sites in Cameroon. So you see, this thing is being done by people who are very, very serious-minded. So this guy is someone I admire because of his tenacity. I've met him. I think I've met his wife too. He's very, very, very committed to his work. And he's very passionate about it. So our cumulative impact, in summary, we've impacted more than 190 locations in 18 countries. And we have more than 6,000 solar PV panels installed. Then I want to mention something, how you can partner with us as I conclude. How can you partner with us? You can partner in two ways, by being a donor or by being a volunteer. And if you desire to donate to the IEEE Smart Villages work to impact more communities around the world, please visit our website. But if you think you're interested in volunteering and also participating in, as you've seen, in the kind of things you've seen me explain that developers do, I'll talk a little more about what you can do. This year, we have the Power Africa Conference in Kigali, Rwanda. And the history shows that, since 2016, the conference has held in different parts of Africa, from Zambia through South Africa, and this year it's Rwanda. Now, what you can do is this. The IEEE Smart Village has 3 programs you can participate in this year in Rwanda. And those are the New Talent Program, the IEEE Entrepreneurship Program, and the IEEE Smart Village Student Paper Competition. So you can visit the website I've shown just now, and you'll get details on how to participate in this program. Now, the New Talent Program is how we onboard new people who want to work with us. So if you're really interested in partnering with us as a volunteer, kindly visit this website I showed just now, and you can get details about how to join us starting from this year. So if you'd like to contact us, our contacts are shown on the screen. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Babayomi. And so this has really been an impactful session. And I believe that even from this webinar, there are going to be people that will arise to be donors and to be volunteers in the IEEE Smart Village. Thank you so much. And so if you have any questions, you can kindly forward them into the chat box. If there are no questions for him, thank you so much. Let's show some love to our speaker, our last speaker in the chat session. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you with us today. All right, so we come to the end of today's session. It's really been a great session. It's really been a great session. Personally, I've been inspired, and yeah, it's really been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. So we'd move on to our announcement for today. And if you check in the chat box, there is a link for a feedback. So we want to hear your feedback. We want to know what your feedbacks are on this webinar. So you can either click on the link in the chat box or scan the QR code on the screen to see to fill the feedback form. Yeah. Next slide, please. All right. So Love Umbrella Network is on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube at Love Umbrella. And you can also scan the QR code to join us on WeChat and on WhatsApp for updates and information on our upcoming events. For questions about our upcoming programs, you can reach out to us at loveumbrella@gmail.com. And we have a book. You can place your order for our book, Managing a Long Distance Relationship, which is available on Amazon and YouPay. And stay connected to us via the social media platforms for the rest of the 2022 events. Yes, next slide. All right, so moving on, we'll just get the iGLOW web update from Mr. V. Over to you, Mr. V. Hello? Hello, Mr. V. I think the sound, there's no sound, it's muted. Oh. Hello. There is no sound. If the screen is being shared, there is no sound. So could you please check it? Okay, while we wait for the sound, we are excited and we are blessed, we are privileged, and blessed to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining and staying through to this session. Thank you so much. Yes, so kindly hold on for 2 minutes as we fix the issue. And whilst we wait, you can also send in your country, the country from where you are connected from, so that we get to know you. You can send in your name and the country from where you are connected from, so that we get to know you. Okay, so I see.
Maiden edition of the iGLOW seminar. I trust that you've learned a lot today, and I trust that it's been a blessing to you and you know how to impact the society now. All right, so we decided, the LoveWorks team, we decided that every year we would like to have a project that we use to impact the community. And our first project just began, and we would like to just showcase it to you. All right, it is actually a web application that can be used by people to collaborate, to identify problems in communities, and to collaborate on solutions, and then to sponsor projects. All right, users can people can sponsor projects, and organizations and individuals can decide to sponsor projects by providing funds or skills that is needed. So we have all been in a position where we probably notice a problem in a local community, either it is hunger, or it is health, or it is poor education, it is access to electricity, or any of the problems related to the sustainable development goals. All right, one of the easiest things is to notice problems. All right, but the question is, what do we do with the problems that we noticed? All right, there are several people out there that have answers. All right, that have insights to how some of these problems can be resolved. And then there are also people that they don't just have insights, but they also have funds. But they don't have insight. Some of them don't have insight, but they have funds. They have the skills to meet some of these, problems. And then there are organizations that would like to, maximize their impact in social responsibilities. All right. So we, the iGLOW project is a way of connecting all these people together in a community so that we can facilitate and accelerate, the pace of social impact community projects and reproduce projects that work in other communities all around the world. So within the next few minutes, I would like to just take you through a basic overview of the project, of what we have done so far. Thank you. So this is the very first version of the project, and it is not yet live. We hope to get your thoughts, your support, and of course your suggestions, even as we keep improving on it. Right, so we are solving problems around the world. We aim to solve problems one community at a time. Our heroes are the people that report problems or suggest solutions or facilitate the implementation of these solutions. So what do? We are a community-based social problem-solving platform. We help in identifying local sustainable development goals problem, retrieving novel or existing solutions around the world, and facilitating or sponsoring and collaboration of interested stakeholders for implementation of solution projects. So there are about 3 or 4 activities that takes place. You can post a problem or an opportunity, then the admin verifies. All right. Over time, we hope to be able to automate the verification process. Then the problem or the opportunity is published for people to interact with and engage and apply as required. Then based on popular demands, now the problem can be converted to a project if it has enough sponsorship. And we hope to also, of course, sponsor project by ourselves and seek for sponsorship from others. And also, we have 4 users currently that can interact on the platform. The first and the basic is the initiator. That's the person that identifies problems in any local community. So if you can identify a problem in a local community, even if you can't solve it, or even if you don't have the ideas on how to solve it, I believe that it is a social responsibility, to be able to connect people that can solve it to the problem. So that's like the basic level. Then we have advisors that are experts in their domain area. The advisors are experts. They share solution insights on community problems. All right. So when the initiator posts the problem, the advisor can, collaborate and give ideas on how it could be solved. Then we have sponsors. All right. Our sponsors help in funding the project. Then we also have organizations. All right. That want to engage our platform to conduct social responsibility and to improve their community services as well. All right. So they can also make use of the data. All right. To improve their activities. And finally, we have our vision and our mission. And finally, we have our vision, our mission, and our values. Our vision is to simplify and accelerate social innovation and social impact by giving a listening ear to distressed communities, inviting talent for inside dialogue, and attracting resources for solution implementation. Our mission is to build a platform for social interaction, for problem listing, ideal solution prescribing, and to facilitate fast implementation of solution projects to the problems. These are our values: transparency, sustainable development, sustainability, growth and development, and love, of course, and transformation as well. We seek to transform communities. These are the development team, but this is not just everybody involved in the development. All right, this very first phase. All right, the LoveWorks team is represented by the product manager in person of Mr. Victor and the IT director in person of Pierre Mukisa. But we have to acknowledge that there are lots of hands working behind the scenes to make this a reality. And should in case you want to reach out to us to talk about the project, we are open to suggestions. We are open to constructive criticisms, and of course, since it's a problem-solving platform, if you have identified solutions to some of the problems that we may encounter, including how to sponsor this kind of a project, please, we are open for dialogue and interactions on this. Please feel free to reach out to us. There's a form right here showing on the screen. You can scan the QR code. All right, it will lead you straight to the suggestion form to hear your views. Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, and wishing you a good time even after the iGLOW. So until we meet again, thank you so much.
my, this is incredible. Thank you so much, the team, iGLOW team, and Mr. Pierre. Thank you so much. All right, so we'd also call back Mr. V to give us the closing remarks.
All right. Hello, everyone. Please, can I be heard?
Yes, please, loud and clear.
All right. I would like to start by saying a very big thank you to everyone that is present here today. Please don't go yet. There's a timer. I think we should leave here as in the next few minutes. So I would like to say a very big thank you to our speakers. Thank you for taking out time, not our invitation, but to also pour out yourself into us. And we'd like to say a very big thank you to our community partners, all the communities that we invited, the institutions and the organizations that are well represented here. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, the friends of Love Umbrella Network, thank you for joining us today and thank you for your continual support. It keeps us going. We appreciate that. Then, of course, the Love Umbrella Network, its members that put together this amazing event. Right? We are very grateful. Okay, on behalf of Love Umbrella Network, we are very grateful. And of course, the iGLOW LOC, thank you for putting this together. So until you hear from us, just one thing that I would like to say, all right, is that what we guarantee that this event is actually successful is if you go out there and go and glow in the good works. If you cause a community to smile, all right, if you can't help a community, at least you can help someone or you can support an existing initiative. It doesn't have to be our initiative. There are lots of initiatives out there within your local communities. You can go out and volunteer. You can go out and fund, all right? You can go out and, even give an encouraging word. It can go a long way in, inspiring the next social transformational agent. All right, so this is where I would like to draw the curtain from my own part, and I would like to hand over to the MC for a brief socialization. I can see that someone is raising up his or her hand. All right, if it's not a mistake, you can just type what you want to say. All right, while I hand over to the MC. Over to you, Madam MC.
All right. Thank you. So this has really been an impactful and amazing session, and I believe that you have got something to go and glow in your world as you glow in the world. You glow in your world to light up the world. Thank you so much for joining us. And so it's time for socialization. If you are in a good place, you can unmute and you can just turn on your video so that we see your face, we hear your voice, we know your name. Yeah, you never know where you meet someone, you never know who is on this platform. So yeah, you can unmute, you can turn on your video so that we see your face and hear your voice. We have about 5 minutes to go. Waiting. Don't be shy. Let's see you. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles, for joining us.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, that was a nice seminar, and I can say that I didn't waste my time because I got something that I can also get hold of it. Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm Charles. I originally from Ghana, but currently I'm in South Africa schooling. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Barrister Justina, we can see you. Mrs. Tina. We can see you, Miss Chinaza. Thank you so much. Hi. More people.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Barrister, we can hear you.
All right, I'm happy to be here today, and I've learned from all the amazing speakers. Thank you, Madam Tina, Chariot. Thank you so much. And to Dr. Oluleke. Yeah, and Mr. Milex, right? I can't even say his name again. Yeah, Milex. And to Mr. and Mrs. V, thank you for organizing such an amazing event. And this is really timely for a lot of youth to make good use of this opportunity to also start doing good works, because our community right now, we need a lot of people that really need our help. So this is really good. Thank you so much for putting this together.
Thank you so much, Barrister. It was amazing having you. We see you, Larissa. We see you, Ajuman. Hi. All right. So I guess that's all for today. And we see you,
Bye-bye,
ACL.
bye-bye, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Milex. Bye. See you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
See you on the next one. You can keep in contact with Love Umbrella Network to get more details on the upcoming events.
I can see two
Miss
people are.
Oh.
Tracy, happy.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for such an amazing event. Please continue to do these events. We need them. We need to be motivated every time. We need to be ignited. The world needs us. Thank you. This was very mind-blowing. Thank you everyone that has participated. Love you.
We love you too, Miss Tracy. We love you too. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you to MC for hosting us. We are grateful.
Chinaza, unmute your mic.
China, yeah, I think I saw someone. Oh, hello.
You did well. Hi guys, long time no see.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How have you been?
You're doing well. We thank God. How have you been too?
Well, the Lord has been keeping me. Amen.
Amen. Thank God.
All right. So I guess we bring the session to an end. Thank you all for coming and have a great night and an amazing weekend ahead. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Shine, shine. It's time to shine, 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 shine,
Yes.
shine, shine. Turn on your light, shine, 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 shine. It's time to shine.
Aye. Wherever you there, tell you make it no look at them face. Shine and blaze. Aye. Wherever you there, tell you make it no look at them face. Make it shine and blaze.
I burn twice. You supposed to shine twice. As you talk, say you get to this new life. Sure you know, say you know 50 ever high. No lie.
Aye. Wherever you there, tell you make it no look at them face. Shine and blaze.
Turn on your light.
Turn your light on.
Shine.
It's time to shine on.
Shine.
Up on your feet, oh. Come shine,
it's time to shine, 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 shine.
Miss V, let's see your dance.
Shine, shine, turn on your light. Shine, 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 shine.
bless you, you're not dancing.
It's time to shine.
You get the bright light, so lift it up. You get the high life, so make you live it up. You can't hide, you be fit it up. Oh, no time, so make you switch it up. The world will grow, make you fit it up. You be salto, make you switch it up. No, they run from darkness, and don't forget who you represent. The world is waiting for you, so you're supposed to
turn on your light. Shine,
shine, shine, shine, shine, shine, shine, shine, shine, shine,
shine. I won twice. You're supposed to shine twice. As you talk, say you get to this new life. Yeah, you know, say you know 50 ever high. No lie.